everyone, it's Shotzi for the Rough Cuts on Sunday. I hope you've had a great week. I've just come back from seeing the film Lawless, and you definitely have to go see this movie. It is awesome. This premiered at Comic-Con, and it's amazing. It's based on a true story, and actually, Nick Cave did the screenplay for it, and or really the screen adaptation of the book The Wettest County in the World by Matt Bondurant. And Matt Bondurant, his novel is based on the story of his family, namely his grandfather and his two brothers. They were moonshiners in basically like the mountains of Virginia during the Prohibition era, and it's just unfathomable the things that they went through. Those of you who have learned about it in history, and from my understanding recently, a lot of people don't really seem to learn about that in history anymore, which is pretty sad. But that was a very, very violent time, and this is a very violent movie. It's not Adam safe by any means. Very gory, very bloody, and they don't shrink away from that. But they don't candy coat things that happened at all during that time. So this is basically a story that talks about these three brothers who a lot of people in their area of Virginia kind of respected them in a way, but it was mostly through fear. People were afraid of them because they were seemingly invincible. Like, it seemed like they could survive anything. Nothing could kill them. And because of this, people were afraid of them. It's like, what are these people made of? Especially the oldest brother, Forrest, who had like this Rasputin-esque vitality that no one could seem to touch. But the story of this movie, it's really just kind of like, as like my friend Harry said after this film, like the story of a family during the Prohibition era. Granted, it's a very dysfunctional family, but it's a working family where they all had, like mutual respect and love for one another. And it's crazy. It's like all of the elements are there. You've got, kind of like the love story going on. You have the bootlegging, of course, and you have just corruption. Everyone was corrupt. There didn't seem to be any like really legitimate people in this apart from the churchgoers. They were the only ones who were very, very true to themselves, what they believed in, and not going against the law. But well, I guess the moonshiners were true to themselves. They had no qualms about things. They stood their ground, said what they meant. But this is a really good story. It's very well written. Nick Cave did a great screen adaptation of the novel. And actually, Matt Bondurant, he introduced this film tonight that we were watching, along with Willie Nelson, who has a song in the film. And he said that he was really happy with how the movie turned out based off of his novel. He said that there were like liberties taken with the movie, but not so much to the point to where it's like unrecognizable. And he said that actually some things were left out of the movie because they just seemed too incredibly unbelievable, and I wish I could talk about it because it would blow your mind. But these were things that actually happened. They're in like the court documents, they're in hospital records, so it's pretty amazing. And I kind of wonder, what kind of people were these hillbillies that, they're remarkable. If you go see the movie, which you should, it's really, really remarkable, the things that they were able to survive considering the time period in which this took place and what happened to them. But this story, it's about these three brothers who are moonshiners. One of them, Shia LaBeouf's character, actually, I can't really call him a character because these were actual people. This pretty much happened. And his person that he plays, the youngest Bondurant brother, Jack, he's sort of coming of age. He's the runt of the family. He doesn't have the brawn that his older brothers have. And he wants to prove himself. You have the oldest brother, played by Tom Hardy, who he's kind of the father figure in all of this. He's the main brawn, he's the brains, he runs everything, and he's also a target. He has a final word as far as things go among his family, and he has a lot of respect through the community, mainly through fear. Then you have the middle brother, Howard, who's just like this wild man. He's played by Jason Clarke, and he's just almost like a caveman. Just, I don't know if there's any sort of thought process going on there. It's just wild. He's just wild in what he does. But it's very effective. But he's very good at doing what he does. And then, of course, you have, like the women who are in this. You have the innocent churchgoer girl, and then you have the other, woman who is played by, I think it's Melissa Chatman, and she plays the character Maggie, and she's a burlesque dancer. She wants to get away from that life to a more quiet life. Jessica Chastain is her name. Sorry. And so she's trying to find herself in that respect. And she's not innocent, but she's a very, very strong female character. So she's not a pushover. She's independent. She can take care of herself. But she also shows that she has a very, very caring heart. So she is a very complex character in this, even though it's a very, very brother-driven movie, and it's gory. This is a gory, gory movie. And then, of course, you have the head villain, this very, very crooked, very corrupt deputy played by Guy Pearce. And it's just, he's one of those people where when you're in this movie watching it, you're just thinking, gosh, I wish they would just bump this guy off, just kill him, because he's just so incredibly wretched. And you think there are all these opportunities. It's like, just take the opportunity. But like I said before, this is based on a true story, so they had to kind of follow what had actually happened. And you should get the novel. It's a very interesting read, and it's amazing. It's part of the whole like myth of Americana during that period, which is a really, really interesting period, the whole Prohibition era. Just things that went on with, like, the moonshiners, the speakeasies, all of the corruption, gangsters making their big appearances during that time. And it's a real turning point in the country. But check out this movie. There is comic relief in it. It isn't all blood and gore, even though there is a lot of blood and gore. So just keep that in mind. This is a very, very bloody movie. And I wish I could talk to you about some of the things that, like, Matt Bondurant was talking about in this. But it's a good movie. Go check it out. It opens up for wide release on Wednesday, the 29th of this month, August. Give it a go. It's definitely worth it. Everyone was impressed by this. It was an impressive movie. And for once, I was not annoyed by Shia LaBeouf's performance, because he has a tendency of really annoying me in movies. He's good in this. Everyone's really good. Go watch this. Lawless comes out on Wednesday. I will see you all next time. Until then, goodbye.